Hey, happy Saturday, everyone. It's Glenn Kellaway from the basement. Hope everyone is going to have a great weekend. Mine started off really good. I'm very excited. I got some records today to show you off of Discogs. I'm not a huge Discogs buyer, but something kind of fateful happened to me, I guess. I was yesterday. I was on Facebook Marketplace, and every once in a while, I just put vinyl records in a search in my area to see if anybody's selling anything locally that I wouldn't have to go to too much trouble to get. And there was a gentleman on there who had a ton of records for sale. He didn't have a list of them, but he said if you go to my Discogs page, you can see everything. And he lived in the same town as Larry and I, Trenton, Ontario. And so I went to his Discogs page, and he had a couple thousand records in there. And he had some records that I've been looking for and want in my collection for very affordable prices. So I put 5 records in my cart, and I contacted him and said, I just put some records in the cart. I think we live fairly close to each other. Could I come and pick them up? And he said, well, if you pay for the order online, he says, then come pick them up and I'll refund you the shipping charges. So I'm just paying for the records. And that they were all for sale in Canadian funds too. So I was pretty happy about that. And I found some records like I said, that I've been looking for. First one, still in the shrink. 10 years after, Undead. I love this album. It's a live album. I think this was their second record that they released. It's a fantastic live record. It was recorded in 1968 live at Kluk's Cleek Railway Hotel, West Hampstead, London, Northwest 6. Excellent record. Now, released in 68, they say. So I get the feeling after 10 years after's dynamic performance at Woodstock, which catapulted them, Elvin Lee, to stardom, that this was reissued because on the record it says featuring I'm Going Home from the movie Woodstock. So there's no way this is a 1968 record that I'm holding in my hand. See how that Sherlock Holmes thing works? On the Durham label, these records were in fair. He rated them all VG, and I was a little concerned that I might be looking at a lot of scratches and stuff, but they're in pretty good shape. There's the odd little surface scratch, but I think they're going to play fine. I was quite happy with the condition. So that's number one. I paid like $4.99 for this. Seriously. All the records totaled about $36 for 5 records. So do the math. And one of them was $13, and the other ones were all like $4, $5, $6, $7. I'm going to put those in other sleeves anyway, so I'll leave them out. Next, this is one of the great unsung records of all time. Came out in 1969, I think. Al Kooper, Mike Bloomfield, Stephen Stills, Super Session. Al Kooper put this together. The original intention was for him and Mike Bloomfield to go into the studio and record a bunch of tracks. And Mike Bloomfield, being Mike Bloomfield, recorded some songs, and then without saying a word to anybody, just disappeared. He just went home. He was done. And Al Kooper's going, what am I going to do now? He brings in Stephen Stills to finish off the record. There's some great tracks on here. Albert Shuffle, which starts it off, is a great instrumental track. Barry Goldberg, great keyboard player of the day. He's on it too. I think the highlight of this album is Season of the Witch, the Donovan song. 11 minutes of pure, incredible guitar and great song, great vocals. If you've never heard this album, you should check it out. Super Session. Mike Bloomfield, Al Kooper, Stephen Stills. It is on the Columbia label. Again, looks pretty good shape. Next, I'm on a Genesis kick. If you've watched my last video where I did my whole journey to discovering Genesis or appreciating Genesis, please watch that. I thought it was kind of fun. One of the albums that I've been listening to and enjoying quite a bit on CD, and I found it for I think $6.99 on this site. Wind and Wuthering. I really like this album. Steve Hackett's on this album. Peter Gabriel is not. Excellent, excellent condition with the original inner and on the Atco label. Very, very happy to get that for that price. Another great album. Boy, did I love the Faces back in the early 70s, man. I went to see those guys every time they came to Toronto. I was at Maple Leaf Gardens to watch. Great shows. Fantastic band. Rod was so cool back then, and then he left and thought he was sexy and all that stuff. But up until then, he was a monster. This is their best album as far as I'm concerned. A Nod's as good as a wink to, I don't know what, a blind horse. Ta-da. Excellent album, man. Miss Judy's Farm, You're So Rude. Stay With Me was a hit record for them. Great song. My favorite song, Ronnie Lane's song, Debris. It's Debris, I think, but he calls it the Debris. They do a version of Chuck Berry's Memphis on here. Fantastic. Ron Wood, Ron Lane, Ian McLaughlin, Rod Stewart. I mean, what a band. These guys were amazing. I've been looking for Faces albums, and $4.99. Thank you very much. Again, they look fairly clean to me. There's a bit of scratches on here, but I think it's just surface stuff. So I'm gonna take in my chances for $5 that it's not going to be too annoying. I'm not expecting perfect, but it's got to be damn good. Last but not least, my buddy Alex from Beer and Vinyl. I watched a bit of the live chat on Wednesday night on Rob's channel, Northern Revolutions. They're continuing the live chats every Wednesday. Please make sure you go there at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night and watch. Those guys are awesome. I caught a bit of it. I was lurking in the background while I was doing some other stuff. And Alex was talking about going on a soul obsession. He's been buying all kinds of soul records, and one of the records he picked up really got my attention because I used to like these records. Was Isaac Hayes' Hot Buttered Soul. It's still in the shrink. This is pretty crazy. I mean, the songs like "Walk On By" does it for 12 minutes long. The other two songs on side one, "Walk On By" and next one, oh man, I can't even pronounce that. If you can look at the title, that's the longest word in history. Wow. Anyway, been a long time since I heard this, man. Enterprise Records. No idea, but hey. So all that for $36. And the gentleman told me just to keep coming back, anything I want. So it literally 3 minutes from my house. Very cool. I took a little trip into the thrift store this morning, looked through the CDs. It was really funny because as much as I've been on a Genesis kick, and I have most of the Genesis catalog, somebody traded in all their Genesis stuff. So the Nursery Crimes were there, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway was there, I forget, there was a whole bunch, Selling England by the Pound. They were all sitting there, but I already have them. But I did find this one. I know this is Peter Gabriel-led Genesis, but Abacab, I do not have it. They had the vinyl there too, but they wanted $10 for it at a frickin' thrift store. Like, come on, I'm not doing that. I'll give you $3 or $4 for it. That's it. So I bought the CD. And Kenny Wayne Shepherd, great electric blues rock guy. I have never heard this album, but it's called The Traveler, and why not for a couple of bucks? What was interested me was he does a couple of covers on here. Neil Young's Mr. Soul and Joe Walsh's Turn to Stone. So might be interesting to hear that. Kenny Wayne Shepherd, pretty good guitar player. You can't really go wrong. It's blues rock. It's not going to be offensive in any way. And that's it for now. I will be back, I'm sure. So everyone have a great day. We will talk later.